We are back in the town. Just doing a quick look around, TM, and then surely everything's okay. Squeak. For the first time in a day, he finds himself starting to relax a little. The end of this bizarre nightmare is in sight. They're already starting to circle back around to the car. You know, it's kind of amazing to think about how you two are still together. That brings Dev out of his reverie rather quickly. Why is that? Well, our other friends didn't last more than a few years out of college. And if you think about it, you and Cam are probably the biggest opposites of all those relationships. I think the most important thing in a relationship is getting along. You can do that for 99% of the time, you're probably set. That and having different hobbies and spending time apart adds to a healthy relationship. Man, sometimes you sound like a self-help relationship book or something. Maybe that's why. I think it's just that we're both reasonable people. That's usually all you need. Well, I'm really happy it all worked out. Especially after your first relationship. Honestly, looking back, I was basically setting Cam up to be your rebound. I wasn't really meaning to, of course. You know, forgot how you sometimes manage to always say the wrong thing at the wrong time, Artie. Well, it has been a long time, so I'm interested. I just wonder who you were with before me. All you've said is that you were like a month-long fling. Artie seems to take this as the go-ahead to reveal irrelevant and embarrassing information about Dev's previous love life. He was a fox named Jesus, right, Devin? I never brought him up because the relationship lasted literally 2 months. Fox, huh? Cameron says it in a contemplative way, in a way that makes Devin uneasy even though the coyote is probably just truly curious. Still, Devin has to wonder if Cam is now suspecting he has a canine fetish or something. Well, yeah, it was short, but when he dumped Dev, he went the full chick flick route and laid in bed for a week eating ice cream. I was so worried about him that I set the two of you up. Devin's muzzle burns under the fur, even hotter than the heat of the desert. Why did I ever tell you anything in confidence? Well, it's more like I saw it, like the entire dorm did. Is that true, Devin? To Devin's dismay, Cameron sounds genuinely interested now, combined with a genuine degree of concern. You seemed so put together when I first met you. Dev avoids answering. It wasn't that you set us up. You mentioned me to your girlfriend's friend, who happened to be Cameron's friend. She set us up. Yeah. You can word it how you like, but if I didn't remember them mentioning the super hot guitar coyote, too bad he's gay, dude. Who knows where you'd be now? Yeah, that's me. And less than a week later, I knew it worked because I walked in on the two of you fucking. Oh god, why are you bringing that up? Yeah, why? Because it was funny. Besides, I walked in on like a dozen people going at it at some point. Hell, back when the university library was open 24/7, you had a 50-50 chance of walking in on a pair of rats getting it on at 2 a.m. in one of the back rooms. Arturo prattles on to Cameron while Devin sulks behind a bit. The bear finds himself wishing he'd be the one to tell Cameron about all of that. The way Artie described it made him sound unstable in a way. Fox had been cute, but Devin never really got to know him before Jesus abruptly broke it off. When he first met Cameron, on the other hand, he was cute and hot, especially with his guitar and voice, but that was just the surface stuff. Cameron was also nice and considerate and thoughtful and complex in ways that the bear is still trying to fully understand. Devin had girlfriends in high school, so people wouldn't get suspicious, but the Fox had been what he considered his first real relationship, and he simply overreacted to his first real breakup. Looking back on his 19-year-old self, it's hard to understand why it felt like the end of the world. If Cameron were to disappear from his life now, it would be the end of the world that he knows at least. Maybe if for some terrible reason it did come to an end, he would look back 10 years from now and think the same about his 25-year-old self. But he doubts that. 5 years is a long time, and he plans to spend the rest of his life with Cameron. Unlike that fling in college, losing Cameron would be a traumatic, life-changing disaster. Just thinking about it now makes his throat tighten. The abyss he's felt below his feet since he was 12, that emotional scar left over from the last traumatic event in his life, seems to yawn a bit wider. The bear thinks back to the point he'd been trying to make about engineers helping to avoid catastrophic failures, and why it had felt like he had been talking to himself. There's a moment in which recovery is impossible, where a chain reaction of small disasters are set off that then mushroom into a tragedy. Maybe he'd been reminding himself about what could happen. Or maybe he's realizing something that's already happened. Why does it feel like he's already past that point? The point where he made a decision at a literal fork that set them in motion a cascade of failures. There's no reason for him to feel that way considering they're minutes away from leaving, but it feels hopeless now. He ignored all the signs and he turned right. Ignored all the signs. Just like all those officials who ignored signs from their department stores, bridges, dams, and spaceships. At least until everything fell apart. Time passes quickly, and bantering with Artie and Devin had made Cameron forget what he was trying to do in the first place. He wonders if maybe that had been Devin's goal. He should be keeping his mind open, not covering up potential spirits with loud, obnoxious laughs as they reminisce about their college days. Because right now, he's feeling something. Something strange that he can't explain. Alright, ready to head out? Man, we didn't even find anything scary. You don't look for scary things, you let them happen, and nothing happened, so... Cameron can't leave now. Hey, Dev, please don't be mad at me. Dev doesn't say anything, and that makes Cameron squirm. You guys gonna fight again? Can I have 5 minutes alone, please? No. Just 5 minutes, I swear, and we'll be done. Cameron. I can feel something. I don't know what, but you guys are making it hard to hear. Cameron, the motel is right there. I'm not leaving you here. Dev's tone is so resolute, so unshaken that Cameron shrinks into himself, realizing he's reached Dev's limit. Artie clears his throat. Not to butt in, but how about this? Me and Dev stand at the end of the road over there so we can see you, and we can make sure nothing bad happens. Please, Dev, I just really need to figure something out, and it's gonna bother me forever if I don't. Please? Dev is clearly taken aback by Cameron's intensity, which had been Cameron's intention. Something is wrong and he needs to confirm it. Is what you're doing safe? Could it hurt you? I don't know. I don't think so. It has more to do with me than ghosts, though. Dev doesn't say anything for several seconds, seeming to be weighing multiple scenarios in his head. Okay, we'll be up the road. Please be careful and yell if you need us. Okay, thank you. Dev kisses Cameron on the head for a long moment before walking away up the road. Artie looks back and forth, confused, before following Dev. Alone now, Cameron can tell that something is definitely different. He can't put his finger on it, but it's not just him being residually high. It's almost like he can see more clearly. Like he can see more. Meaning in nothing. Cameron isn't sure what to think about this. The weed is making it happen, though. Just like he hoped it would. But it's weak. He can hear the voices of those who have passed just barely playing along the wind. For a fraction of a second, he thinks of trying opioids just once more and how that would truly help him see things. The thought leaves him feeling physically repulsed to the point that he almost retches, the visceral reaction surprising even him. 3 years of substance abuse, the death of his mother, the deaths of his friends. He vividly remembers those 2 weeks when he quit cold turkey, hiding away in his friend's basement in a pool of sweat, shaking, having every bathroom issue possible, wanting to rip through his fur and skin, to run into the street, to run into a car. He cried constantly. He hated himself. He was worthless. He needed to die. He had to die. But at the end of those 2 weeks, he'd made it. It was hard, but like his friends would always tell him, withdrawals aren't the hard part. The hard part is finding pills in a friend or a relative's medicine cabinet months, even years later. The hard part is crushing those pills up in neat little lines of powder, staring at them, telling yourself you don't need it. You don't have to do it. But you do it. You always do it. No matter how many times you get clean. Someone like Cameron needed something else to keep him clean. And that's Devon, because the shame and heartache of Devon finding out wouldn't ever be worth it. But knowing this moment, any moment, can be far better with a single pill. Fortunately, that feeling will always be there. So no, this is stupid, and he won't touch drugs again, not even weed. The window. At first, Cameron is only surprised. This is something he hasn't seen in months, not since October of last year. But still, he kind of hoped this would happen. This creature, this manifestation, is somehow connected to his abilities. He'd always thought it to be mental illness. But now that he knows there's something more to all of this, maybe it's a sign, a harbinger of sorts that might lead him to important visions. Still, something about it is especially unsettling this time. Something is wrong. Something is different, and it's more than just the raincoat monster appearing. Arches and half circles. His train of thought cuts off as he notices a barely discernible movement from the creature. Aside from a handful of moments in the past that felt like glitches more than anything else, the creature never moved. It was always like a cardboard cutout. It's no longer cardboard, though. It's breathing. What's happening? He's not thinking right. This isn't part of Echo. Cameron knows that. So why is it acting different, more alive, as if the town is amplifying it? Maybe it's just the setting, his nerves, the weed, but now he's realizing how strange it is that he's been so relieved to find out he's psychic. Doesn't he still have problems? It's not like all of those issues were just solved. Are those the voices of the dead or something else? Are those ghosts or hallucinations? Is there a difference? Suddenly a whole new wave of anxiety washes over the canine. Just like that, he's not sure about anything anymore. He'd had such a beautiful, life-changing epiphany, and now... He looks up the road to where Dev and Artie are, but they're not there, and Cameron stares, wondering what's real anymore. He looks back at the monster, standing in that window. It's a harbinger of something important. He should go into that room. Otherwise, he'll just leave here knowing he's crazy, knowing he's on the verge of a fucking psychotic break. Oh, damn it, what am I doing? And then he's moving for the window, for the monster, the whispers growing and the distortions twisting. Devin watches his boyfriend in the distance carefully, feeling his anxiety come down a bit as Cameron just seems to stand there. So, what's the deal, man? Huh? You know what I'm talking about. What happened? Did he see some fucked up shit earlier? Because you seem really, really worried. For a moment, Devin is glad Artie cuts himself off, but then... Hey, what the fuck? Ah! Artie is already running up the road towards his car. Devin looks and sees a man standing next to the car, the hood up. Devin isn't sure what to do at first. Either go to Cameron or follow Artie. Cameron seems oblivious in the distance, which is probably for the best, and it doesn't look like the man is carrying any sort of weapon, so deciding his friend is going to need help, he runs after Artie. Dev runs up to the car just as the old weasel-looking man headbutts Artie in the face. Ah! Fuck! Son of a bitch! Artie stumbles and falls on his ass. Hey! The weasel regards him coolly, seeming not bothered by the fact that he just used his own face as a battering ram. Hey. Dev doesn't seem to know what to say, mostly because he doesn't know why the guy just did what he did. Meanwhile, Artie moans on the ground, a paw to his forehead. That at least gives Dev a starting point. Can't just fucking do that, man! What are you doing? Adjusting things. He shows off a pair of pliers. Devin can hear his heart pounding in his ears as he sees a toolbox balanced on the bumper. Why? Give me the... Devin starts to step forward to take the pliers from the man, but a flash of light blinds him. Devin had never been hit before, not as an adult at least. His size usually deterred anyone from trying anything, and he normally didn't get into those kinds of situations anyway. So this moment takes what feels like a long time for his brain to process. He stumbles on his feet, paws uselessly outstretched, trying to refocus when... something explodes in his stomach that seems to expand like a balloon under his ribcage. The bear doubles over in shock, feeling like a vacuum has opened up in his torso before he falls to his knees. Ugh. The long, strained sound of agony seems to go on forever as his diaphragm refuses to work. Only now does he realize he's been punched in the stomach as well. And while he's had his wind knocked out of him before, it's nothing like this. How was that, fat ass? Dev goes on droning in response, a small part of him considering that he might actually suffocate to death. Holy hell, man. What the fuck is your problem? Oh, you wanna know? Devin, still with his face towards the ground, only hears movement above him, but that's followed by a gasp from Artie. I have a problem with sick fucks like you two dicking around in this place because you think it's funny. Dev's only now starting to get his breath back, but his eyes are locked in the gun in his face and his insides turn to water, which has nothing to do with the punch. Where were you 5 years ago, huh? Back home with mommy and daddy living in your middle-class houses? Thought you'd come and see what these crazy meth heads are up to, how they all killed each other. The man adjusts his grip on the gun and Dev almost chokes with fear. The old man is gonna shoot him or he's gonna do it on accident. Is this still fun? Artie's rough breathing next to Devin is the only thing that lets the bear know that the cat is still there with him. Dude, listen, we didn't mean... You listen, dude. I gave you assholes a whole fucking day to get the fuck out, but you're still here. So you're so goddamn comfortable. Hope you don't mind being stuck here for good. That voice is rough. Why did I do that? With that, the man turns away, sticking his gun down his pants before calmly collecting his tools, closing the toolbox and walking off the road straight through the sagebrush. At least he only has a few lines. Holy shit. It's a 9-mile walk to the freeway. I suggest you leave the moment it gets cool. And that's friendly advice. There's much worse out there than me, you stupid fucks. Artie bends over Devin, who slowly stumbles to his feet, hunched over, stomach aching far worse than his muzzle, which he wipes clean of blood. Fuck, man. What did he do? Artie looks back to the car, and even from here, Dev can see wiring sticking out from the hood. I can't fucking believe this! Hang on, I'm getting Cam. Alright, man, I'll see if this thing is even worth coming back for. Devin jogs up the road, grunting with each step, each one sending a jolt through his stomach. While the weasel hadn't moved in this direction, Dev isn't taking chances. He also needs to make sure the coyote is... Cameron? You shouldn't be panicking, not yet. But that feeling is starting up again, and after having a gun pointed in his face... Cameron! No answer. Dev heaves for air, looking around until he sees a flash of flannel through a motel window. He's next to it in a second, unable to fit, so he pries back boards with his bare paws. Then he pushes through and tumbles into thick darkness. Despite having seen this monster in some form or another for over 15 years now, Cameron realizes he never really tried to move towards it. In the beginning, he tried to run away, of course, but it ended up following him. It never moved when he was looking at it, but the second he looked away and back again, it would reappear closer, usually at that 20 to 30 foot distance. When he learned to ignore it, it just sort of blended into the background and he almost stopped noticing it. Cameron squeezes through the boards covering the window. He's only a few feet away from the thing. He realizes that if he makes contact with it, that if it's solid, then he won't know what to think. He never even considered that it might be real. But now as those unnaturally long claws dangle from the sleeves of the raincoat, Cameron starts to worry. As he moves those last few feet, though, raincoat monster starts to dissolve into the dim lighting of the room, and the coyote is inside. It happens in a way that makes Cameron think of a mirage. But the creature is still here, now across the room, against the wall. Its ever-present deranged grin plastered to its dark furred face. Cameron moves toward it again, slowly this time. The creature still seemingly frozen, but in the way a real person would try to appear frozen. This creature is almost like an imitation of the one he's gotten to know so well. One that almost became a companion of sorts in his childhood. About halfway across the dark, cluttered motel room, a raincoat monster bends sideways, almost like it's going to do a cartwheel towards the bathroom door. Its heavily clawed hands don't move, though, and instead it just keeps bending like a bridge, like an arch. And then it slips into the darkness of the bathroom. Cameron stares, feeling the feeling of unease growing. Of course, shit like this always made him feel uneasy. It makes him feel fucking crazy. But what just happened now? It felt deliberate. Like he's being toyed with somehow. Raincoat Monster had toyed with him plenty of times before, especially the first time he saw it. It was his own mind doing it, after all. But what makes him feel nervous now is that it seems like there's something else behind it. Almost like whatever was behind his first vision in that other motel room is behind this as well. So we should leave, right? whatever that is doesn't seem to have a very good intentions. All it seems to want to do is fuck with him. If it is the same thing that hijacked his first vision, then it could look like anything. It disguised itself as Dev and said awful things to him. Disguised itself. Is that even a disguise? Is it possible Devin somehow made that call? That would be the most plausible explanation, aside from malicious ghosts being real, something he never believed until now. He trusts Dev, though. Cameron looks at the boarded window. Why did Artie and Devin abandon him like this? Is this part of Devin's investigation still? Is this a setup of some kind, like a test? Cameron continues to just stand in the middle of the motel room, staring around himself. This isn't right. He's not making sense. These thoughts don't make sense. But there are some connections, and he can't deny that something about the whole situation is off. The voices, the whispering, continues to ebb and flow, and there's a slight electronic quality to it. It's not impossible that someone could have planted a speaker in this room to make him think he's hearing the voices of ghosts. After all, Devin had been so adamant that he not come back to the motel with him to gather his equipment. That would have been the perfect opportunity. He tries to listen to them, but they blend together and mumble quietly, and he can't make anything out. If this is a setup, then Raincoat Monster could be a real person, someone in a costume, or something is wrong. Suddenly, thinking itself is becoming difficult. He's still high after all, but at the same time, things are suddenly making at least some sort of sense. This is some kind of sick joke that he can't... If this is some kind of sick joke, that could explain a lot. Distant chuckle breaks through the hushed whispers. It sounds kind of like Devin. Devin? Cameron points his ears towards the bathroom. Artie? Guys? You can't really be doing this to me, right? His voice is weak, unsure, and afraid. Something creaks to his left and the coyote jumps, staring wide-eyed. Guys? In the back of his mind, Cameron knows that whatever this is, whatever is going on inside or outside his mind, is not good. He needs to get out. Suddenly something starts pulling at the boards of the window. Cameron gasps, stumbling back, an explosion of fear taking over in a way that he's never experienced before. Cameron? You're in there, right? You okay? It looks like Devin, but the coyote is moving for the bathroom because he's not completely sure. Even if that really is Dev. Cameron pulls the door to the bathroom closed and fumbles with the knob until he finds and presses the push lock that somehow still works. Cameron? Honey, are you in there? Are you in here? Cameron keeps quiet, pressing his paws to his muzzle, suppressing his instinctual urge to respond. Cameron! Cameron listens to the bear's heavy footsteps on the ruined floor. Then the doorknob to the bathroom vibrates violently. Cameron yelps. Stop! I'm sorry, I need to figure things out right now. There's a pause, one that seems to go on for a very, very long time. What? Devin's voice is equal parts confused and concerned. Baby, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What happened? I don't know. Why did you guys leave me? Leave you? I'm right here. I looked up the road and you were just gone. Oh, Cameron, something happened. It's a little complicated, but I can tell you about it on the way out. I'm sorry I left you when I said I'd watch you, but we need to go right now. Something happened. It's a little complicated. Cameron, please open the door. Devin lets out a nervous laugh. You're freaking me the fuck out right now, honey. That only puts Cameron more on edge. Devin thinks he's the one that's acting strange. You're freaking me the fuck out. Why did you even bring me here? Is Artie there too? Another long, horrible pause. When Dev talks again, his tone has changed completely, like he's being very careful with his words. Like Cameron is crazy. Honey? Can you tell me what's wrong? Did something happen? You tell me, Devin. You're really starting to worry me, baby. Devin's voice cracks. Cameron doesn't know what to say. He doesn't have to think of what to say because at that point something breaks painfully down his back. It's like a giant set of claws, and Cameron gasps, then screams as another set of claws grip over the top of his head. He completely forgot about Raincoat Monster, but even if he remembered, he never thought it could touch him. Cameron? Open the door! Open! God damn it, stand back, Cam! The air seems to explode as the flimsy motel bathroom door splinters with ease, Dev having kicked it in. From light flooding the bathroom now, Cameron sees that he's fighting with nothing. He thought it had to be Artie. Suddenly the bear is grabbing him, trying to hold him or pin him, and Cameron just struggles trying to pull away. Cameron, what happened? Please, calm down. Just let me go! Cameron is crying now, and it's making him gasp for air. Let's breathe, Cam. No, stop doing this to me. Just let me go. Doing what to you? What happened? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Cameron's struggles become more wild, kicking out and fighting with Dev's much stronger grip. What the fuck? Dev seems to say it to himself, almost in a whisper, as if unable to believe what's happening. Cameron isn't able to either. None of this is real, is it? Huh? Did you set this up to make me believe or something? What? How would I do that? Speakers, your costumes, I don't know. Ow! You're hurting me! Devin lets Cameron go finally, though he tries to hold on to him to make him look at the bear. But Cameron takes the opportunity to escape, running right for the window. Much easier to get through after Dev's entry. Cameron! I'm sorry, I just need to think. Cameron can hear Devin crying now, but he can't stop. He needs to get out. He needs to get away. He falls clumsily through the window, and as he stands up, he gasps as he comes face to face with Artie. Suddenly, he notices how similar the color of his fur is to Raincoat Monster. Whoa, dude, you okay? What's going on? I can hear you guys yelling all the way. Artie trails off as Cameron backs away from the cat, keeping him in view until he can run away up the road to somewhere that's not here. Dev sobs as he fumbles to get out the window, wondering if he's dreaming. This can't be happening. He looks around the parking lot, but all he sees is Artie. Where did he go? Artie points wordlessly, and Devin jogs up the length of the parking lot to look around the motel. Cameron is nowhere in sight. Devin stares for a while, hoping to see Cameron pop out from behind one of the dilapidated structures, but he doesn't. Devin, what happened? Something's wrong with Cameron. I know, he looked totally freaked out. Did that madhead get to him too or something? No, I don't know, he's not making sense. He's not thinking right. What do you mean? Devin takes a deep, shuddering breath, still staring, realizing Cam might have already made it to the dirt road off Main Street. Devin rubs his face vigorously with both paws. He said something about us setting him up. Setting him up? For what? I don't know, it's like he's not in his right state of mind or something. Devin stops from saying completely lost it, because that just sounds wrong. Seeing no sign of Cameron, Devin suddenly feels panic bloom in his chest. What if Cameron is so far gone that he's running off into the desert? He would die. Shit. Are you sure he ran this way? Dev starts walking quickly up the road, looking at each abandoned structure, scanning the desert landscape all the while. His panic has settled into a dull, persistent feeling of dread, and his crying is mostly under control, just sniffling every now and then. Artie follows behind him. Yeah, positive, man. He was running, though. Shit. Hey, he just looked really emotional. Doesn't he have panic attacks? Yeah, but that wasn't just a panic attack. Something else is going on. Has he done this before? No. Isn't he on medication? No, man, he's not on medication. But wasn't he? Dude, this isn't helping anything right now. Sorry, it's just that I remember him telling me he was on an antipsychotic back in college. Devin's blood runs cold. I think it was just like an antidepressants or something. Why would he even tell you? Cameron! Dev's voice echoes hollowly up the street, unanswered. He was on both, I'm pretty sure. He was talking to Maria about it since she's been on a bunch of them for her bipolar disorder. He was just looking for advice on how to deal with the side effects, and I was a psych major, so there's that. Were you? Cameron! Duh. I was a failed STEM major. Behavioral sciences are the next step. Despite that being something Artie might normally say, it sounds forced, like he's trying to keep the mood light. All Devin can think about now is how he couldn't even be bothered to know what medications his boyfriend was taking and why. He just knew they made him feel like shit. So when Cameron said he just wanted to stop whatever it was he was taking, Devin encouraged him, and Cameron seemed happier after that. Anyway, I'm not saying he's like schizophrenic. Antipsychotics can be combined with antidepressants for just plain old depression sometimes. I think he's just panicking a little. I probably would if I went into that motel alone. No. Cameron was panicking, sure, but he was accusing Devin of setting him up, of tricking him. Cameron didn't trust him, and that's something Devin has never seen before. And remember, with his tolerance, he's probably still pretty high. Could just be paranoid. Devin gasps, and Arturo stares at him frozen. And rage and horror explodes in Devin's chest. The fucking weed! Whoa, what happened? You fucking know he has problems? Was on medications in college, and you just let him get stoned? Artie stares. Well, I didn't remember until just now, and besides, that's what's making you freak out. It's gonna wear off. No, he said I was tricking him. He didn't trust me, Artie. He said I was planting fucking speakers so he'd hear voices. Artie continues to stare but doesn't say anything this time. Devin does his best to avoid saying what he thinks is happening. It's not just panic, that's more than just that. Fuck, man, his mom died because of this shit. What if he's wandering off in the middle of the desert right now and... He had researched psychosis. He came across plenty of stories just like this. The way so many of them ended. Devin feels like he's about to throw up. After a few seconds of silence, Artie clears his throat. Listen, we don't know anything yet. But if I caused this to happen, I'm sorry. Either way, I'm gonna help you find your man, okay? It's only been 5 minutes. Devin starts to calm down a bit, breathing more evenly. Like I said, my girlfriend is bipolar, and even though I know it's not exactly the same, she's had moments like this too, and we always came out alright. So how about we look for 20, maybe 30 minutes? I'm sure we'll find him. If we don't, though, I'm gonna run my ass back up the road until I get cell service and call 911. Alright? Dev takes a shuddering breath. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Okay, before I fucking destroy my goddamn throat, I'm gonna take a break. Come back with Cameron having a mental breakdown. Woohoo!